And I think it's very important for everybody to be engaged because that everybody's on the same page.
It's about, who's willing to change gears at the right time.
Go out, go have fun, and just take it to them.
For Wheeling Athletics, I'm Elijah Stark, and I'm here with Max Hamilton for the first edition of the Max Hamilton Show in Rugby 7's season. And Max, you guys are coming off back-to-back national championships. What has made those two teams so special, and what do you see in this team that has some of the same things?
Yeah, I think it all comes back to the camaraderie, right? Our group is very close and tight-knit. We want to support one another. And when we back ourselves too, especially athletically, and we know that we're competing so much at practice, that we're able to really express that on the field, especially on the national stage, which is huge. All the comparisons from all the years, I would back that it's our camaraderie and it's just the way that our team wants to play together.
And you guys, obviously the back-to-back national championships, how do you guys keep that edge going into this season and not let the guys become complacent?
Yeah, I think there's always those sayings where it's like, don't change something that's working well for you, right? And in sport, you want to fall back on some of those tendencies that have been very reliable for us. But we also have to really do our homework because there's a ton of teams that are doing their work and doing their jobs to focus on us and saying, okay, well, if Wheeling's being successful and this is how they're doing it, other teams are going to start to use the same strategies. So I think there's a lot of, if it's not broken, don't try to fix it, don't force changes, but also we have to adapt our game because every year the game changes and is constantly evolving.
And your first weekend out, you guys went 3-1-1. What do you think you learned from that weekend?
Yeah, I think we were able to just get the pressure off our backs and get it out and over with a little bit too. I think a lot of teams put a lot of pressure on themselves to not lose. And I think one thing that we're putting our pressure on and trying to enhance it towards is let's win, right? So back ourselves, every time we won this past weekend, we never got scored on. That was huge, right? So I think where it comes from is that when we are mentally prepared and on it, we are playing some of the best rugby in the country. And I think those mental slip-ups that happen are all mental. And I think as we kind of go closer to the CRCs and into some of these qualifier tournaments, you're going to see a different type of rugby that we play.
I really like that positive framework, focusing on winning and instead of not losing. And with that one loss, you guys only lost one game last year. How do you think the guys have handled that, and what did you see from them after that?
Yeah, I think we needed it a little bit, right? We need a little bit of a gut check and to kind of push us. And what we get from the guys after that is more aggression in the moment. So always the next match after a loss or a draw, you're going to see the team play really fired up. But how we take that for the long run and into the next few weeks is now we really do our homework on that match, right? What did they do to beat us? How do we win? And what's the difference between all those matches? And how do we end up creating a new formula for us for when we play a specific team like that again? You can't expect the same rugby every time, but you can expect the same people. And that's really what we're doing our homework on.
I'm currently joined by head coach of the men's rugby team, Max Hamilton. And Max, you guys are going into this weekend. It's kind of a four-pool setup. You get 2 games against your pool, and then you'll have a quarterfinal, a semifinal, and hopefully a championship match in there. You guys already played Queens, who's in your bracket. What do you think they're going to look to do a little bit differently?
Yeah, I think Queens, and even from doing our homework on the matches that we drew and had the loss to, I think Queens being at that tournament and what they're going to bring into this next one is trying to slow us down. That's always everybody's big strategy when they're playing against Wheeling is retain the ball and slow us down. And in rugby, those are the 2 best things that you can do to mess with your opponent. The easiest solution answers to mess with your opponent is don't let them have the ball back and slow them down when they want to play. So I think for ourselves going into that match, knowing that teams, their whole goal is going to be to slow us down, we just have to keep moving that ball. Don't let them get close to us. And we operate at such a high pace once we get there. It takes us a match to get to that moment. But we can trigger that with our warm-ups and a good warm-up for the first match. I'm not worried about this upcoming weekend. I'm very excited.
And with 7 ranked teams this weekend, including Belmont Abbey, that was your loss, the potential to play them again or play some other good teams, what do you think you guys could do differently if you do play Belmont Abbey?
Yeah, and looking at how do we combat that, I think for us, it's always been a mental thing, especially from 15s this year, losing to Belmont for the first time. I think our goal coming into that match is to win the physical game a little bit. I think we tend to get bullied by teams when we're starting to lose or even those draws. or teams that score on us, right? A lot of it is way more physical rugby than what we're used to. We have a lot of speed, and that's what we back ourselves with. That's where we find a lot of our tries. When it becomes physical rugby in 7's, that's where we tend to falter a little bit. I think how we can combat that, especially against an aggressive Belmont Abbey, is to meet them with some more aggression, and really try to bruise some bones. And at that point, once we can kind of open it up a little bit, we inject some speed and run the score up a little.
And lastly, who's a guy or a couple guys that has really impressed you since 15 seasons or even going back from the beginning?
Yeah, Mason Ziegler has been a standout for us. He's a football player and a rugby player, so he plays mostly 7's. He has just been a unit, right? Last year, he was mostly defensive player for us. He didn't have much ball carrying, didn't really score much. This year was able to open up within the first match and score a try for us, which was huge. And defensively has been able to get better, right? So it's not that he came in as the same. He wasn't consistent. He's only improved. So that's been huge from him. Then Shadrach Mendaza, returning from the jaw injury, he's been able to kind of come into this tournament and shake off the rust and really get back into it. Walking away from the tournament with the most tries from the team was awesome, and we're hopeful to see, what he does and brings for the team in the next future.
Yeah, Shadrach is definitely an electric player on the field, and looking forward to see his speed and some more tries from him this weekend. So good luck to him, Mason, and the rest of your guys this weekend. For Wheeling Athletics, I'm Elijah Stark.
And I think it's very important for everybody to be engaged because that everybody's on the same page.
It's about, who's willing to change gears at the right time.
Go out, go have fun, and just take it to them.